can participate in World Cup and so on. It is just a part of the FIDE competition.
Is the schools not a FIDE competition?
Wait.
No.
Sorry. I don't know exactly which year it was. It was a FIDE Congress in Turkey,
Yes.
where the title was awarded to the schools competition.
Yes, it is title.
Yes, it's candidate master.
Yeah.
Lowest title, candidate
It was,
master.
it was awarded.
Candidate
Yes.
master, yeah.
What the continents and the PB support is for it to be given the equivalent, respectively. All right. And there are qualifications now also from, let's say, continental under 14. You can play in under 16.
Yes.
So the World Schools has also this qualification is in the book, the Events Commission. The regulations are all there. So it is an official FIDE event. It is already.
No, of course, FIDE event, but not in the cycle.
What cycle?
Oh no, a championship, let's say.
No, every year. It is a cycle. The World Schools, the Asian schools, the European
And the
schools.
winners, what about winners? They are not in the FIDE side to go to the next step and so on.
That's what I'm telling you, Andre. It is. There is. It is inside this Events Commission.
Yeah.
It is there. It's all established. Same as an under 14 champion has the personal right to participate in the under 14 of the world.
Already?
Yes.
I didn't see. Yes, I
It
didn't
is.
see. Okay.
It was already passed in Krakow. Same as World Youth. Okay.
Because they have, odd numbers. I mean the age.
Yeah, that's the difference.
70s, and the youth have even numbers.
The reason for the perception that it is weaker is because in the world schools there is no what we call invited players.
Yeah.
All right, only the qualifying players from the continents now, plus defending champions, have the personal right for free accommodation.
And free
Everybody
players, of course.
pays. So for that reason, there's less participation and perception of weaker events.
Yes, you are right.
Yes, how?
I don't know if this would be the kind of solution you're looking for, but maybe in the world schools, instead of offering heavier titles, stick with the CM titles and maybe make them free, instead of having the...
It's
player
different.
pay.
You, to make them free is not our.
So, FIDE is all revved up about chess in schools, so put your money where your mouth is kind of thing. For the schools competition, if you want to increase the participation and give it a little extra cachet,
I think if you treat the world schools, all right, one step lower like the continental, it solves the compromise between. But to keep it as just candidate master for the under 17 champion, then it seems a little bit weak.
No, only under 9 and older we give it.
Well, it's an under 17.
I'm talking about under 17.
17.
Yes, a candidate master title. All right. Whereas in the new structure of the next, the under 18 gets IM with GM Nong. Right. So we can recommend that for under 17 it is one step lower, and we start from there.
Yes, the under 17s, the under 15s, they...
No, 15, there is, under 16 they got an order of IM. The winner of the youth championship, even continental youth championship under 16, is getting norm IM of 9 games.
No, under 18 champion now in his new structure gets GM Nong.
Yes,
And
but
IM
I said
title.
about under 16.
Under 16 IM
IM norm 9 games.
title.
Title.
Title. So I'm recommending just one step below the world.
But
the
I said
age.
about continental, not west.
No, when you have the world schools, one step below the world
Yeah,
youth,
of
then
course,
you have the
yes.
continental moving down again.
Yeah.
Okay, can we accept this compromise? Yeah.
Sorry, tell me one more time. I'm sorry, so I wrote it down.
If we have were under 18, all right, you just shift yourself, shift the one were 17 to be equivalent to were under 16. Just put were 16 and 17 together. And then the
18
rest.
is,
Oh,
No, 18 is alone. 18 is alone.
so you want the schools under 15 to be the same as the world under 14?
What
Is that the scheme?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, unfortunately, that's the problem, that the schools under 15 is a vastly weaker tournament than the world under 14, no comparison.
of course.
Then you go 2 steps lower then.
Horse and cart,
Okay.
horse and cart again.
Huh?
It's the horse and cart again.
Well, maybe.
If you wait for these events to happen, you'll be waiting about 10 years.
I don't think it's a couple of FM titles that is stopping the schools from being successful.
But please take into consideration that only if they took first place, not sharing first place, I mean alone first place.
I think the proposal came because actually if you look at the title regulations, world schools don't get titles.
Yeah.
Not even candidate masters written in the
Yes,
regulation.
they do. They've slipped in at the bottom.
Yes?
Yes, it is, of course.
Ah,
you can
and the-
see
ah,
outside.
candidate
Yes.
master.
It
So
was
once
the
the
proposal came in because there is no corresponding title for the continents. So if we could, let's say, slip in the continental, even at candidate master, they may not be 100% happy, they should be 50,
Yes,
60%.
Just to start.
Yeah, just to start.
Yes, I don't think anyone worries too much about CM titles. Okay, so just...
Children do.
oh, no, I mean people worried about dilution.
I know, yeah.
Yes. So for the continental schools,
It will correspond with your structure.
yes,
We leave
Yeah.
Nick to work out the
Yeah.
structure, alright?
We can leave.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
Okay.
but we're talking about CMs.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
we can give them some CMs, I'm sure. Okay.
1.43, Russia, India, Cuba, we spoke about this.
Yes. Now this is a tricky one.
1.3.
Yes, and I think both Michaelis and I have written about this. Can everyone find Annex 6, which probably isn't called Annex 6?
This page is after the title regulations. Just before the title structure. The title framework, the new.
Right. 143A is the regulation that says that you can be exempt from the requirement to have foreigners in your tournament and still get a norm if it is a national championship. At least I think, the QC always believed we understood what this meant, which was that a bona fide national championship could provide a norm. There is another view, popular among...
That's the practice of what we do.
well, yes. Yes, we have we've based decisions on that, and Michaelis in particular, and Walter, to have investigated some in detail to see whether they are bona fide national championships, and sometimes they are not. Now the federations, in some cases, view this as a wild card. They can designate one tournament where the foreigner requirement does not apply. And they waive their 143A wild card and say this norm is okay. It turns out that Russia has been doing that. I don't think we knew. The thinking is the Russian Championship obviously is all GMs, no norms there. so they have been submitting essentially semi-final results and getting norms. And
This happened or they requested our permission?
sorry?
It happened,
Mm.
or they requested our permission to accept it.
Oh, well, they request.
And we said no because it was after the tournament ended.
Yes, but then, of course, they said, how can you say this? We get it every year. And we didn't know that.
Yes, sorry.
For who? For Russia?
Yes.
What
So-
is this? It was refused in the past.
It was refused to
No.
France several times. Yeah.
Several times.
Yeah.
Well, but sometimes it was not refused because they've got it.
No, it was refused to France because it was clearly said both for overboard titles as well as for arbiter titles. It was only the A championship which was taken into consideration.
Well, it turns out they've got some. And now they're angry with saying no.
Like it's
Cuba
ours.
case may be a mistake.
No.
Right, then coming on to Cuba, the...
Yes.
Sorry, right, India have this year formally requested a change in the rule so they can, they've done everything properly, they want the rule changed, and they want one of two changes. They say either can we have our semi-final, or can we just be allowed to nominate one event. So that's their requested change. The final example that we have discovered is Cuba, and they have a rather unusual system where they have what they call a championship, but then the top 6 from that, it varies a bit, but let's say the top 6 from that are joined by their 2 top players who are parachuted in to a super final. And what the Cubans have been doing is they get a norm from the semi-final, and say a 9-round norm. If their player then does well in the next round, they add that in and ask for a really big norm. But if their player doesn't do so well in the second half, they throw that out and ask for a small norm. And so this needs cleaning up. So, as I say, I told you the problem. What is the solution?
Chuit.
Yeah, and Cuban representative, so it happens that since 2006, since 6 years ago, more than 6 years, we have made this structure in the national championship, as you have told. This is the final, only that we have 2 seeded players because they have much more higher rating than the rest. This is Dominguez and Brusson, now more than 2,500 rated. So in order they not to suffer their results. But it happens that about 11 titles, most of them Grandmaster titles, have been awarded in this period. But mainly the clients, the challengers to the titles, has raising this punctuation, this scores and the norms in the previous part of the tournament, because the results always are Brusson and Dominguez, the top seeded players, clearly overcome them in the Wimbledon final step. No? Then, of course, we are going to, it's necessary, it's obvious, to change this national championship structure, or if the commission agrees here, to apply for the wild card tournament, not foreigners, to be this previous tournament, not the final, as the commission decides. But several titles we're not very aware that we are not in the right way to make the title and the case of our place.
Yes,
I
Mr.
propose, our friend from Cuba is an arbiter. He probably won't be here Tuesday afternoon. We have decided to discuss in public the Pozo Vera application. Perhaps it's a good time to do it right now, before the end of this
Yes,
meeting.
he's here, Cuba.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'd like to present the case, why we have rejected it, and all this correspondence we received after the rejection that came to our decision to request everyone to say his opinion here. Can we do it right now?
Okay.
Can I use your computer to bring the papers online?
Yeah, certainly.
This is Zofia.
Charis, I think we can also meet privately. We need to bring everybody
About the Pozo Vera application.
to it.
You don't want to do it right now? Okay, then we'll come.
Okay, through it,
Yeah.
Michalis, Walter, and Nick will sit through with you to explain to you, and then you can argue your case with them.
The problem is that we have two controversial directions, but we don't know which one must be taken in first.
Yeah, yeah.
Either 151 or 143A. 151 to accept, 143A to reject. And this is the case, which makes it controversial here. Okay, whatever you decide.
We go on.
We go on.
Well, we can continue. Oh, sorry, there's.
Yes.
okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I'm still puzzled about the thing. I really want to know, being also a lecturer of the physiology course, and I like to be teaching in a great way. I'm not aware about something like a wild card tournament. Where is it written? And then further on, I would like to know, because is it then only practice in certain federations? I mean, as I said in the past, it was, and I was at that moment chairman of the Federation, it was used to France on several occasions for the B championship. And I can state, if I still recall it very well, the B championship was stronger than certain open tournaments, open round robin tournaments.
It's not, the wild card is an interpretation, and it is not my interpretation, but it is one interpretation that has been used.
Can I suggest?
When, by whom, and for whom? That's my question.
Can I suggest, all right, that we will not accept this anymore. We will put it very clearly in the regulations that it will only be the national championship. How you word it, we will appoint the 3 persons to word this. There is no alternate. Okay?
It is clearly written. It is written in 1.43.
Okay, if it's clearly written, then it's the championship. There is no request even.
There's no question.
But the Indians have asked us to consider
So we
a
said
change.
no. So we said no.
Tell once more, I repeat, because this question they already asked since 1900, when was it, 98, since Elista, they were asking, the Indians have A, B, and C championships. They asked to have the B and C championship to be equally dealt with like the A championship.
Yeah.
So this is, I'm sorry, if you're going to, it was always refused. Both
So-
by Miko for titles and for over the border, and both by Takis for international arbiter titles.
Yes,
I
Michael.
want to give an explanation. When Nico died and I was asked to examine the titles, I had to invent a method to examine the 143A exceptions. And the method I found was I take the tournament where the norm came from and examine if the champion of this year was a player in this tournament. That was my personal reaction, and I thought that it was correct. And from this situation, I found out, and we had to reject originally the Cuban Federation. In Presidential Board 2 Elista in Istanbul, we have no other controversial norm certificates from 143A exception. I don't know what was happening in the past, And what Ignacio suggests is to decide what to do from now on. What is the national championship? The first approach says that the QC has to confirm that this is the national championship, no matter what, whatever it comes, we must confirm. The second one says that we allow the federation to define one championship per year to use 143A. So the responsibility is not ours to confirm that this is the correct tournament, it is the federation. These are the two ideas. But for PB2 and here in Istanbul, I have done approach number one.
I disagree with this way of thinking, because then some national federations will define the championship in question after they know the results. This is what's going to happen if you open
We
that
can
door.
prevent it if we want.
Sorry, you need to know in advance which is the highest championship.
Excuse me.
And not wait for the results and then they...
This is why we require registration.
Yeah, and
Okay.
not afterwards that you're
Kevin.
going to decide which championship.
Yes, we have a case in Australia. What we have is we alternate between having two different kinds of national championship of roughly equal strength. We have a Australian National Championship, and then the next year we have the Australian Open Championship, and then the Australian National Championship, and so on. The Australian National Championship defines the person who is called the Australian National Champion. The Australian Open Championship defines a person who is called the Australian Open Championship, and anybody from anywhere in the world can win that. It's actually a stronger tournament that we have every second year that we call the Open Championship. We would like the rule to permit us to continue to count both of those events as exempt from the foreign requirement, because it's been very useful in the past in cases where someone would have otherwise not got a title that we think they deserved.
You announced it in advance.
Yeah, all this has to be
Yeah,
announced in
we-
advance. Someone also say something. Who is it? Igor. Okay.
I think it's not a problem. You may call, call your championship as you like, but only once a year.
Yeah.
Yeah. For the so-called the super final, I mean those tournaments that we had allowed, we should stop, and we should give them, these federations, a very explicit warning that this is the final, and there will be no deviation from this. This is what I'm suggesting. Okay, but for the Cuban case, you can sit down with them privately and then present in the next session. Okay.
Bus is at 7.
Yes.
Hold it.
Okay, then in this case, for the title regulations, I would suggest that Walter, can you sit down with Nick on the title regulation?
Okay.
Huh? Walter, Anil, and Nick, all right, on the title regulations to present the final draft, and then to present the title applications, the
I
comments.
want to be present with the title and regulations also.
Okay, you can, all right.
And I have to say it, but Stuart also pretty much wrote them, so probably he should be there.
Okay,
There's
we
a
can join you.
big team.
It's
All right.
not a problem.
So, and to check the titles and to make this summary report, Michalis and Christian, can you, two of you?
Summary.
The
Summary
name,
of the two.
yeah.
The applications are all ready. I have already sent the results, but
Any
I
more
have
coming in the next day?
six new
That's
came
what I mean.
since Friday. I have checked only 2 of them, and I have not checked the conditionals with the September list.
Yes, we
There
have
is
3-4
still work.
days. We have 3-4 days, just to, let's say, to check.
By Tuesday afternoon,
Yes.
it will be
Okay,
ready.
just Christian to. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, then we adjourn. We meet on Tuesday. Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman.